Hey guys, Jake Wolfe here for another reaction video, and it's been quite a bit, almost a month now, and okay, so a little bit, quite a bit has happened since then. Like you could probably see with the hair now, I dye my hair green. Don't judge me, I like green. But other than that, after maybe I'd say after the last video, I ended up getting sick maybe a week afterwards. So that explains 1 week. After that, how long was it? I think I ended up being sick twice, or I just got sick that one time. It lasted longer than I thought it did. Not too sure. But the other majority of it is just me either not having enough time to make a video, or me just being too lazy to make a video. I am sorry. I'm gonna try to start posting more often now. Like I don't know, like 3 videos a week now. I'm gonna try to start doing that. If I can't do it, then just yell at me in the comments down below. But let me grab this. But even though I've not posted at all, apparently you guys said, "Hey, why don't we just like I don't know, get past 50 subscribers pretty easily now?" We're at like what? I don't know. Let me check. 55 subscribers right now. I didn't even think we were going to get past 50 okay, I don't want to start you just yet. Like, in general, like, at all. So, thank you guys. With the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for just 50 subscribers in general. Just thank you. So, I do want to start planning on doing a few different types of videos on the channel other than the reaction videos. I do want to start doing like try to start doing some gaming videos since I was able to buy me the Xbox Game Pass for my Xbox. So I have quite a few games I can play, such as I think Star Wars Battlefront 2, a few Halo games. I just started playing Halo Wars. Yeah, man, I have a lot of games I can actually play now. But yeah, I can actually play quite a few games now, which I really like. So if you guys have any suggestions of what games I should play, like I can't really like record me doing them. I could probably stream them instead over on Twitch and broadcast that to YouTube. I don't know how long I'm gonna go into those games, probably like an hour or two, depending on what time of it is. I'm gonna start trying to do that tomorrow. So, yeah. This video is probably getting posted today. I have a short time schedule for this, though. So, it's going to begin. Starting in... Which one are we doing? Yeah. Alright, so... Game Theory came out with this... Today is for 21st, March 38th. So, yeah. Alright, so we have... This was done 3 days ago. And... this one is Game Theory FNAF, What? The Secret... Why is there a secret... What? That confuses me. That really does. Huh. I've been waiting for this game to come out quite a bit now, because I want to see... Ooh. Ooh! I did not know about this. Oh! I want to watch this now. Oh, come on! Oh! Fine, I'll do that for tomorrow's video. Oh, that's sad, though. Alright, well... Will you go away? I don't want YouTube TV. Just go away. Go. Thank you. Alright. We've been talking up to myself for very long now. Let's just go away and just do this. Starting in 3, 2, 1, play.
Gregory, do you see that bit of green spinach in your teeth? Have you ever heard of Fortnite, Gregory? You need to floss.
Oh my god. Why did you...
Well, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys have this one, and I'll see you next game. I will come back and get over it.
Did we just win?
No, we did not, Superstar.
What? Wait. Wait a minute. What do you mean he didn't?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's proud to pick the nerdiest option available.
Anyone that picks Monty Golf is just a nerd.
Woo! Gator Golf! Joke's on you, Mark. Fast Cam is OP. Plus, being a nerd allows you to discover the secret daycare room and sister location room. So who's the nerd now? Me. It's still
Hey, man.
Last time we dove into the time travel ball pit.
Don't worry, we're all in this together,
breach,
Matt
I
Pat.
walked away with some, let's just call them divisive conclusions. Basically, it was an episode with 3 separate theories.
I haven't seen that one yet. Probably have to react to that one next time, or in a little bit.
Wasn't just your average sentient animatronic, but rather was possessed by the spirit of Michael Afton, doing everything he can to protect Gregory. This one was generally well received, so cool. Let's keep going. Why would Michael protect this random kid? Well, because 2, Gregory, whether literally or symbolically, is Michael's younger brother, FNAF 4's crying child. I started to lose people at this point, but it was really theory number 3 that threw us for a loop, because there's a good bit of evidence in both the game and in the history of the franchise to suggest
this kind of counterjuncts a lot of his other theories, though, doesn't it? No wonder people were really mad about that one. Let's see what number 3
Gregory is a robot. The crying child's consciousness literally transplanted into a robotic body sometime after he dies in the bite of 83.
Okay. Now that could actually work in a lot
of strong opinions on that, with some people really liking the theory, and others not so much. Suddenly I was flooded by people saying that I had rushed it out just to ride the trend, or that it was my dumbest theory ever, to which I say no, Deadpool is Ernest Hemingway is my dumbest theory ever. Closely followed by Wario being 10 feet tall. Anyway, the outcry was so huge that I ended up trending on Twitter because of it. You know, didn't get much better from there.
Oh, yeah, true. You don't want to be trending on Twitter, especially if it's bad. Am I joking? What am I joking? If you're trending on Twitter, it's automatically bad.
In the same week, I was trending again because a group of performers juggled to the song Megalovania during an event for none other than the Pope. It only took 5 years, my friends, but it looks like that Steam code I gave him for Undertale finally paid off.
They called me a madman.
Anyway, like I said, a lot of heated opinions on the last one, with Twitter basically boiling down this 18-minute-long, 4,000-word theory down to this single image. So, yeah.
I've read a few, like, because during school we had to, like, read things to each other and stuff like that. So I've read, like, for a few things that are, like, maybe a few hundred words, and holy crap, a few hundred words is awful. Imagine, I just can imagine you, like, 4,000 words. I would probably gone insane by then. I'm not joking either. I would probably have gone insane by then by talking to myself for that long.
Thanks for not including literally anything else from that last video. So before we get to
the next theory, he has a point there. They do have quite a few similarities.
Including literally anything else from that last video. So before we get to the next theory all about Vanessa, let me just address some of the biggest counterpoints I saw to the previous theory. Not because I'm convinced I'm right, far from it in fact, but because I think that the Gregory is crying child theory currently fits the best with everything the game has presented to us thus far. First, one of the key pieces of evidence last episode was
I haven't played Security
right
Break, so
where Freddy says to Gregory,
I feel you are broken.
This, to me, was a clear connection back to the crying child from FNAF 4, where psychic friend Fredbear says to him, "You are broken." I mean, kind of speaks for itself. It's a parallel that's made stronger.
Yeah, his dad is technically a psychopathic killer that's turning kids' souls into animatronic, so that would break someone, especially when I'm guessing maybe, I don't know, at most 11-year-old, maybe. At most, maybe. At least 9 years old. I'm seeing younger than that. That's traumatizing. That's really traumatizing. That's really traumatizing. I can't imagine going through that.
How that line gets delivered back in that game.
Also, having this thing just follow you around. Imagine that. Just imagine having to look over your shoulder every single time there's not like a 6-foot-tall animatronic trying to kill you.
No way of knowing back when FNAF 4 was released, but thanks to a secret room found in Sister Location, we know that psychic friend Fredbear is actually a plushie with a walkie-talkie.
And also, probably if I'm wrong here, like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think, isn't Baby his sister? I think that, well, if we're going based off that the Crown Child is Afton's son, not his brother. If this is Afton's brother, then this is his niece. Yes, niece. I don't know how I get nephew and niece mixed up quite a bit. I don't know how, but if we're going based off on that, that also means that he lost his sister to his brother, to his father's experiments. Which, if you have a sibling, which I do, even though I don't show any emotion to her at all, brothers will get that. Brothers always get that. But even, you still care about them. You do. So even, like, you have that bond, and just having that bond broken by someone you thought you could trust, that's, again, pretty traumatizing. So, yeah, I could see that him being broken, in the literal sense, and the mental sense as well. It's a plausible theory, actually.
Walkie inside of him. A walkie-talkie that allowed William Afton to scare and manipulate his youngest son. Father of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Also know that throughout FNAF 4, all of William's lines use the color FFFF57, a bright golden yellow. Golden bunny, golden yellow, makes sense. But the iconic final lines of "You're broken, I will put you back together" actually use a different color. A lighter yellow, FFFFA0. Back then, we never really came to a satisfying explanation. Was it a mistake? Was it another spirit? Was it maybe the puppet? But now, 7 years of investigation later, we know for sure someone else is indeed talking here. Someone who, in sister location, is mistaken for his dad. Someone who turns purple just like his dad. Someone who can't die like his dad. And someone who had the lines immediately prior apologizing to his kid brother, but when that didn't get through, decided to try comforting him through the voice of his best friend. It's Michael Afton, represented by a lighter color of yellow, a color that symbolically connects him back to his father. That's a
pretty cool thing right there. That's a pretty, like, interesting detail that it took us that long to figure that out. That is awesome on their part.
We have
really
Michael
awesome.
Afton in FNAF 4 saying the line, "You're broken," to his brother through the voice of a Fredbear plush. And here in Security Breach, if we're right about all this, we once again have him saying the same line.
I forgot who created the games in the first place. He's probably going to say it sometime. I forgot his name. God dang it. But I wonder if he actually watches any of these videos at all. Like, he just watches these, and it'd be pretty cool if he actually said, "Hey, MatPat, this one might be correct. Hey, MatPat, for this one, look back a little bit. You'll see some extra details I hidden there." That would be pretty cool right there. I found that really cool.
To his brother through the voice of another Freddy, this time Glamrock Freddy. I personally think it's a really cool narrative connection between all these games. But a lot of people were quick to point out that there's dialogue in the game files that was cut from the final release, where Freddy says that Gregory is bleeding. Specifically, he says,
"Your arm is cut badly,
and
I am detecting blood. You are injured."
This, for many people, disproved that Gregory's an animatronic, and I actually have two things to say about that.
Well, they probably cut that out because that could have gone against the lore in the first place. So that could have been just a mistake on their part, yada yada yada, or just a mistake in just writing, which happens pretty easily. So let's see.
First, when I've used cut lines of dialogue in the past, the internet has, in no uncertain terms, told me that I can't.
Yeah.
But now apparently it's okay.
I mean, here's a fair point there. Quite a bit of a fair point there. You can't just. Everyone who pretty much said that is just a hypocrite at that point.
Guys, and honestly, I think cutting it, regardless of the reason, shows that it didn't fit the final creative intent of the game.
Exactly.
But anyway, if that's the case,
exactly. It didn't go. It went against the lore.
GB Aura recharged in the game files. This one is Freddy saying,
"Gregory, I know why you're not in the customer database. I remember you from the..."
And it cuts off. Obviously, it's vague. It's kept very intentionally vague. But it also shows that Gregory is special in a way that the other disappeared kids aren't. There's a reason he's not
whoever created this comic did pretty good on this, I'll say. I might want to read this comic.
Customer base. He's from somewhere specific that Freddy knows about. If I were to guess, I'd say like the underground pizzeria, but you know, that's just me hypothesizing. Adding to the Gregory is special idea is the fact
trying
that
to figure out where he's actually located at is kind of hard to do, especially since we don't have like really much to go off on here, or where he's like really came from. Much as we know, he legit came from an entirely different pizzeria entirely.
Knows his name. She calls it out in the middle of the pizzeria. Strange detail for a kid who supposedly has no records in the system. Secondly, and I hate to be the
ain't gonna lie, that's pretty terrifying. That's really terrifying.
Go back to that. Well, animatronic children do actually bleed. They can also cry and feel cold. Heck, they can even feel hungry and eat. And you don't even have to go to the books for that one. You can just see it with Chica's pizza obsession and security breach. So to tell me that a robot child can't bleed, I think you gotta really look at the franchise that we're talking about here. And for everyone who's confused about the timeline of Crying Child still being alive and the fact that he would be older at this point, that wouldn't actually be the case.
You know what? I'll give him that one. I'll give him that one. That was a pretty good one right there.
Separate versions of herself built, one for each stage of her life. So that way she could grow older, but she would just assume a new animatronic body each time. So Crying Child still being young would actually make more sense here. And everyone's saying, why would he say stuff like,
don't want to be crushed and twisted into a meat pretzel?
No, again, Charlotte in the books is shocked to learn her true nature in the final chapters. Her consciousness
she's not really. I think she really didn't really know she's animatronic, like, and plus, wouldn't you be shocked if you were animatronic as well? I'd be screaming in joy, unless it really didn't give me any powers. Then I pretty much just say, so I'm just basically my original self, just made out of metal instead. I can still feel pain and still bleed. So I'm immortal. I'll give it that. I'm immortal. I think. I'm ageless, not immortal. I think you could probably still kill an animatronic. You could probably still kill an animatronic. Just burn it. Doesn't that happen in the game? Yeah, I think they burn Afton, like, in one of the games. I think it's FNAF 4? Is there FNAF 4? I don't know, I completely forgot.
Toy while she was alive, and after her tragic death had been placed inside of her robot body to function as her memory. So for all she knew, she was just a normal human being just like anyone else. Is it dumb? Yeah, I'll say that it is. Is it complicated?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But is it giving us insight into the rules that Scott and everyone who touches this universe...
Scott! Okay, there it is. I knew he was eventually going to say it.
Lastly, for everyone who spammed my feed with pictures of sad white boys in striped shirts saying that you had found the Crying Child, thank you for your help uncovering the lore. I get the joke. All white boys with brown hair and striped shirts are apparently the Crying Child. Remember what series we're talking about here, friends. Visual design details have always been an important part of figuring these games out. Take a look at Mimi. During Sister Location, she has green eyes, but when you play her minigame, she has blue ones, at least until she kills Elizabeth Afton, who, lo and behold, had green eyes. Superficial design features like this help us to connect the dots. Are they the be-all and end-all of evidence? No, but they do help support an argument. So a little brown-haired boy in shorts...
Yeah, we're doing it. Okay, so we're pretty much doing the exact same thing in reading. We were pretty much doing the exact same thing in reading today. Pretty much where we had to find a claim and find evidence to support it. MatPats and everyone else is doing theories like this are finding these claims, and the theories are the claims. So they find the evidence, especially they find the evidence that supports that claim. Now, the evidence might not be supported in its own right, but it supports the claim enough to point to where it actually gets you to the question that could actually happen. And especially coming from the person who, I don't know, spent the last 2 years, at least, maybe even 3 now, I'm not too sure. I don't know when that first FNAF video came out. It's discovering the FNAF lore. I think he might be pretty much a veteran at this point with this stuff.
and two stripes? Seems sus.
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory?
Speaking of eyes,
Oh
for
my
all the
god,
complaints about the
why
last
did they
episode,
put that
no
in
one seemed
that?
to have any answers to what I see as the two strongest pieces of physical evidence here. Why does
If he starts
Gregory
doing
look
sus,
different
I'm gonna start crying.
when Fred
Also,
gets...
oh god. Oh, I'd be terrified of going that thing. I'd be absolutely terrified.
Roxy's X-ray eyes?
You look different to me.
And secondly, why does Gregory's vision glitch when he sees Vanny? Why does he
True.
have such a weird visual reaction to her and to literally no other character in the game? Well, you hear that high-pitched ringing sound as Vanny skips and gets closer? It seems to be a disruptor that makes her invisible to animatronics with older model eyes. In the Fire ending, Freddy, who couldn't see her at any point in the game, explicitly says,
I can see you now. I have new eyes.
I mean, this is exactly how the much-hated sound illusion discs from the books work, creating a high-frequency sound to make people and robots
There's a comic of
invisible
this?
and or look differently.
There's a comic now. I thought there were only books and freaking, I don't know, the games. There's a comic now, or is that just part of the book that just like they would just did art for?
A losing battle over here, so I'm just gonna gloss over it. Anyway, to me, it reads as Gregory's robotic eyes being disrupted. I mean, why have CRT lines over the screen and not some other type of filter to show that his vision is getting disrupted?
True.
In fact, why have the same CRT lines as the security cameras all around the Pizzaplex? But there's one final piece of evidence I'd like to talk about to help solidify that previous theory before we move on, and that is the screenshot here of the final scene from the Savior ending, where you rescue Vanny from the control glitch trap. And I use quotation marks here because there aren't any official sources giving names to the various endings. In the game files, they're just labeled as S1, S2, and S3 based on the number of stars that you get for them. It is worth noting, though, that this is the only 3-star ending that currently exists, which seems to imply that it has some level of importance to it. But here we see our three main characters, Gregory, Freddy, and Vanessa, all sitting on a hill, which, as I pointed out last time, is very similar to the FNAF 6 Gravestone Hill. But that's not what's important here. What I want to point out is the ice cream. Gregory is holding a golden Freddy-shaped ice cream with part of its head bitten off. If Gregory is not meant to parallel back to the crying child in any way, shape, or form, then this detail is just mean and irresponsible. This ice cream is the
He has a very valid point there, I would say.
He was terrified of animatronics and ended up being bitten by the golden Freddy spring suit. But now he's the one sitting on a hill taking a big old bite out of golden Freddy. That is not me reading too much into this. That is
that's funny.
Very clear image that is put directly into
tastes
the game
like
by the
karma.
designers. It is barely even subtle. And despite him wearing a blue shirt in most of the endings, here his shirt is colored purple, just like his father's signature color. Couple that with literally everything else. His lack of
I guess you
records,
can go
the
that
fact
direction
he
with
goes
that
into
one.
charging stations. So I stand by my theory that Gregory is an animatronic of the crying child. Is it a perfect answer? No. Do I love the fact that it complicates the lore even more? No. But does it answer the most questions with the evidence that we have? I believe it does. And it's a heck of a lot better than Fazgoo. But now, 4 pages into this episode, let's actually stop to talk about Vanessa, shall we? Last episode, I made a passing statement
Last time I
about
saw
how
a
this
Vanessa
final
video
image
was
felt
like,
to me
I don't know, a
the
couple
three
months
Afton
ago, so
children
let's see how this one
being
goes.
reunited. Crying Child, Michael, and Elizabeth Afton, William's daughter that done got scooped by Baby back in
So
sister
Baby is
location. It's a
Elizabeth,
scene that,
technically.
to me, feels like the narrative finally giving them a sense of closure after they quite literally die as a result of their dad's evil deeds. Last time I briefly made mention of Vanessa's blonde hair and green eyes, which is the same as Elizabeth. And here, in this ending, we actually see 2 scenes of her wearing the signature Afton purple. Even the ice cream cone, as opposed to something like Gregory's novelty pop, is a potential callback to her death, where Baby delivered an ice cream cone to her before she did the scoop. And when you look at the connections between these 2 characters, it's more than just a couple of visual similarities. The biggest secret in Security Breach right now is a series of 16 retro CDs, invisible collectibles that only Freddy can see, hidden in every obscure corner of the game's map. Then, to play these things, you actually need to have also found the secret sister location room that we talked about last time. Now, these CDs are, they're problematic. They open up a whole separate can of worms. They're recordings of therapy sessions following 2 separate individuals, patient 46 and patient 71. The exact identity of
I just imagine freaking Steve. I forgot his name again. Oh, come on. I just imagine him trying to... just think about this. imagine that he forgets the lore, and then no one will have any clue what the heck is happening anymore. Oh, that would be very bad if that happens, though. Really bad.
46 is a theory for next time that will absolutely launch us into yet another flame war, but early in Patient 71's tapes, we learned that it's actually Vanessa speaking.
Hello, Vanessa. How are you feeling today?
These are recordings from therapy sessions that Vanessa had while she was at the job for the FNAF AR game special delivery. She
and it makes sense that she would have
Lewis on several occasions, and we discover that she's
a therapist for anything to do with FNAF at all.
We see in emails from FNAF AR. By the last of Vanessa's recordings, she's leaving that job for a new job somewhere else, most likely the job of security guard here in Security Breach.
I'm needed somewhere else now.
But let's dive into the good stuff, shall we? In Vanessa's second tape, we learn about a custody battle that happened between her parents. Her dad won using manipulative tactics, forcing his daughter to falsely testify.
Your dad made you follow instructions, didn't he? I'm talking about the custody battle between your mum and your dad. Your dad didn't play fair, did he? He used to make your mum look bad in court.
After losing custody of her daughter, Vanessa's mother, well, here's what the tape does.
I know your mum. After she lost the custody case.
It glitches, implying that her mother ended her own life, which would explain why Mrs. Afton is missing from all the games, and why she may have...
That's a brutal one right there. Imagine just the amount of guilt you have to feel, because she must think that is her fault, because she did listen to her father's instructions, and she didn't think that would happen, so... Just imagine to go through all of that, plus this on top of it. Ugh. Man, that's a brutal one right there. That's a brutal one.
Have wound up being rebuilt as the motherly Ballora in Sister Location. A robot that, wouldn't you know it, sings about her inescapable depression now that the walls of her house are empty.
All I see is an empty room. No more joy, an empty tomb.
Wow.
We also hear Vanessa lines like this.
Oh, you like those? Apparently, the janitor on this floor has a garden and has been putting bouquets in the offices here for years.
Vanessa likes flowers. A small detail, but you know me, small details could often be the biggest evidence.
True.
Who else do we know in the series that has an affinity for flowers? Well, think back to FNAF 4. Remember
yep, I knew it was a fourth one. I just knew it.
Portrait of a flower on the wall? It's Elizabeth's room before she got scooped. Then you have Vanessa lines like this.
Lots of people know more than I do. Sometimes I need to listen.
Now, this might be a stretch, but I believe it's referring to when Elizabeth got scooped by Baby. Her dad had repeatedly and explicitly warned her not to go near Baby, but she didn't listen. And in doing so, she ended up getting herself trapped inside the animatronic.
Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch a show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful.
Vanessa also says in her tapes that she doesn't like dark basements.
I have a craft space in my basement. Maybe I could come up with something you could learn to do. I don't like dark basements.
It's another line that seems to be pointing us in the direction of Baby, who is trapped underground for years in Circus Baby's entertainment rentals, looking for a way back to the surface.
I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go.
And to put one final nail in this coffin, right back in the second CD, we actually learned the name of Vanessa's father.
I feel like I know your dad,
I'm scared of being underground as well. I can't take just imagining like being under like tens, if not hundreds of tons of dirt above me that could collapse in a second if any of the support was if any of the support was to fail. That could happen. I don't like going underground or in the air. Actually, I've never really flown before. I don't know about the air just yet. Maybe. I might like flying. You never know.
Bill, right?
Bill is short for William. That's just the game
Really?
trolling us with the coincidence, right? Wrong. You see, going back to FNAF AR, we learned that Vanessa's last name begins with an A. From there, we can connect the dots. Bill A, William Afton. But didn't Baby burn at the end of FNAF 6?
Okay, that kind of makes some sense,
yeah,
actually.
She did, but you see how effective that was. How are you not dead? I mean, to be fair, the thought that burning him is going to work is stupid, because people have tried to burn him to death no less than 3 times in this franchise. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. But here's the kicker. At the end of the game, we meet the Blob, a weird tentacle monster made up of all the original members of the series. FNAF 1's Chica and Bonnie, FNAF 2's Mangle, sister locations...
Oh, Mangle. Mangle's my favorite. Not gonna lie, Mangle was my actual favorite. Mainly because, well, looks awesome. She really does. She looks insane. Like, legitimately, it's awesome. Just the detail they put into some of these characters is awesome.
Crawling out of the bottom, the puppet mask without tears.
Oh, wow, puppets in this, wow.
And Baby's face. Now, don't get me started on this being Baby's original face and not Scrap Baby's updated look where she came back to FNAF 6 in. I have words about that. Anyway, look at them all here on screen. You notice anything strange? Most of the animatronics' eyes are lit up. Funtime Freddy, Chica, Mangle, even this random endoskeleton at the bottom. But now take a look back at Baby's
Maybe Sonic's not lit at all.
Are blacked out. So although the Blob has absorbed Baby's body during the burning down of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, her spirit, the spirit of Elizabeth Afton, is no longer present. It is unaccounted for. It is on the loose, and as such, potentially at large within the game. Is she, in some way, Vanessa? And if so, how? The truth is, I don't know.
They're both blonde. They both have green eyes, so that could be a similarity. But also, technically, they're siblings, I don't know how that... I'm confused at this point.
Got my brain in so many knots, I might as well be a sailboat. I don't think there's any evidence to support any conclusion at this point in time. But I do know that this is what the evidence is heavily pointing us towards.
True.
The design similarities, the missing spirit, the purple color, the ice cream, the voice lines, the personality traits, and again, the narrative theme of 3 Afton kids reuniting and moving on after a traumatic past. It gives everyone this nice full circle ending, even if it's only meant to be symbolic. And the screen really does feel like it's the end. Finally,
it's not.
3 characters.
It's not by any means. It's really not.
So enough about them. We're moving past
they have,
3.
especially they have a lot more loose ends to do. Do you mind? Thank you. At least lore-wise. And I cannot wait for the next game. If I have any money for the next game, I might try to stream it. If it's playable on console. If it's not, then I probably won't be able to stream it. But if it is, I'm definitely buying the next game. Might even buy this game and play it tomorrow. If I'm lucky. Let's go and continue to see what else he has to say.
There's still other mysteries that we have to solve here.
Because
what happened to Glamrock Bonnie? Who is patient 46 and why are they here? What's the deal with that room full of post-it notes? Yeah, you forgot about that one, didn't you? It's important. And did you happen to notice the other missing animatronic from this game? Because I certainly did, and I think they might be hiding in plain sight. So next time we get to cover some mysteries that don't require us talking about dead characters getting rebuilt into robots. Scratch that. We're talking about William Afton. It's kind of unavoidable at this point. This franchise is so ridiculous. Anyway, next time we're going to sweep up a few other mysteries as we try to make more sense out of the game that quite literally threw everything against the wall to see what would stick. Speaking of things sticking on walls, why don't you spice up your decor with some 80s-tastic magnetic posters that stick on your walls with today's sponsor, Displate. Who needs a time-traveling ball pit to revisit the 80s when you can have those bright neon colors and designs on each and every one of your walls?
Okay, you have my attention. Do you have any Wolfe ones?
Can start to feel a bit flat and tired over time. They can fade, they can rip. This is where Displate comes in. They use metal to make their posters so that the bright colors and designs always pop, never fade, and don't feel cheap like paper scotch taped against the wall. Plus, unlike the animatronics that we brutally tear apart in this game, these metal posters are incredibly durable. Fazbear Entertainment, listen up, because we've all seen how Monty likes to trash his room, but this could be the solution for you. They survived a cross-country move for us looking just as good as they did when we began.
That cat, though. That's adorable.
With millions of designs to choose from, you're never gonna...
Alright, I think that's probably the most part of the end of the video so far. So, this was awesome. I got to know quite a bit more about the game than I thought I would. I might watch a few people play it just to see what I'm in store for. If you guys don't want me to do that, so I'm more surprised for this, just tell me down in the comments that I won't do that. But until then, next video should be coming out sometime tomorrow. If I post one today, If I don't post this one today, then it's going to be coming out on Sunday. So yeah. Alright. Until then, I'll see you guys next video. See you guys then. Bye.